talking about Casey Anthony. She's back in the news. For those of you who don't know, I always say this in case you don't know, but Casey Anthony is the mom who in 2008 was accused of killing her daughter, Kaylee, and she was acquitted in 2011. I remember the case well because I live in Florida. Orlando's actually not that far from me, and that's where the case was tried. And at that time, my daughter was around the same age. They were not that far apart. And so for a lot of women, a lot of moms, her acquittal, even though there was certain evidence that was found, it obviously turned the whole world against this woman. She is literally called like the most hated woman in America. Well, she's back in the news. I've always kept my 2 cents about that whole case. There's just something, I feel like there's a huge chunk between her parents, and there was all these assault, abuse things thrown back and forth between her dad, her. She did her documentary. I don't know. I've always, she was acquitted, but I have always thought with, just some of the evidence against her and her reaction, I guess people don't react the way you would assume or want them to, but I've always thought it was suspect that she never had any more kids, which is probably a good thing. I mean, that's not someone you really want as a parent, but she's lived a life of quiet. She has stayed in Florida. I know she's bounced all around. I want to say she lived in either like Jacksonville or Fort Lauderdale or something, and I believe she moved back to Orlando. But regardless, like, she's lived a life of quiet. Now, during that, she was, I guess, in the documentary when I saw it, she was staying with one of the attorneys that had got her acquitted. And she ended up being, like, really, like, trying to become, like, an advocate for people